Welcome back to Rebuilding Astroworld. This is Swag, and today we are looking at expanding the boardwalk area of the park. And in that, we're going to have to finish up this building, or maybe switch some things about this building around, build a little plaza, figure out what we're doing with this building, and then the car ride, which is going to take up a majority of this space around here. So that's what we're going to do in this episode. I have thought about this park because I was on the road for a few days, and there's the thoughts in my head of building the park how it is in real life, or was in real life, and then making it my own by switching up the buildings or switching up the rides or switching up the layout. I think the general layout of the park is going to remain the same. I don't think I'm going to get away from that. But I do believe that some of these buildings are either going to change in the future and be redone with the same sort of ideas, but I've kind of realized that you gotta build the rides like this and this and this and the car ride, and you've got to place the rides in a spot that you wants to be there, and then build the pathing in the buildings around that. It's a lot harder once you've broken this main entrance area, which is just a straight line with some buildings on the sides. Once you start getting into an area that's curving and has another open plaza and has a bunch of rides, you gotta start thinking about how everything's proportional and how everything's going to look from multiple angles. And I really do think that building the rides in the area is going to define the area more than the buildings themselves. So I kind of feel bad about building these first, because I know I'm going to probably have to move them or redesign them. So that's something that I've thought about and I will likely have to do in the future. But for now, we're going to kind of finish off what we've got and then add the ride. And then I think it's going to be really important to figure out how we do the rides in the future to make the basic layout of the park work. Okay, let's get to it. I've built this plaza, and I'm still not sure about these posts and supports for this building, honestly. I think this is just a rough draft building. I'm going to take like 2 things that I like about it and probably redo it in the future. But I like the shape of the plaza. It is a little boxy, so I'm not too pleased with that part of it. But like, this is the main idea. There's going to be like a planter here, and then some planters wrapping around it. And of course, there's going to be a larger pathway that kind of swoops around through here. So overall, pretty satisfied with this. I'm going to finish the backside of this building and likely move on to the car ride. So that's probably going to be the next part. But overall, I think getting something in place is important because the next few steps are going to be bigger for shaping the area than this building. So that's what we're going to do next. So now we've got sort of I don't know if I could call this an entrance building, but like building for the Ferris wheel, the Astro wheel. I'm not happy with it. I put a lot of time into it. And I'm like, man, this doesn't look very good. But it did give me like, hey, this is what space we've got over here. And then I've noticed as I've built this car ride, which I'm actually really happy with the shape of the car ride, and then there's a little pedestrian bridge that goes over it. What I've realized is if I do a building like this, I don't have a lot of space to come in here and put the queue on this side. It might have to wrap around and go around on this side. We're going to have a swinging ship over here, or it's going to go out here. But you don't typically have like a walk up, see the ride, and have the queue start on the other side. It's usually got to be pretty visible. So I might have to make the entrance sort of a diagonal right here or a diagonal over here that wraps around. And then I've got to do something about this building. The car ride itself, it's got a simple entrance building, sort of like a red roof, flat awning with a little peak over here. I don't think I'm going to build it in this episode. It's probably going to be in a future episode. Like I said, I got the feeling while I was building this ride, I need to build these rides first before shaping the area and putting the buildings in, because I think the rides are more determinant on spacing than the buildings themselves. Once I figure out, okay, I've got to build this like here, this building, whatever it's going to be, must fit in this area, and then the pathing is going to be figured out that way. So I really do think I probably have to start putting the rides in place first, or I really have to stick to building straight off of the grid that exists. So that's something that I'm probably going to have to look at in the future episodes. I have started a new job recently, so I've been traveling a lot for that. So I really do want to keep up these episodes, but I think they're going to be shorter and they're going to be less detail-oriented and more macro focused. So I will think about that and then continue building in the future. So thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you have any tips or ideas of like, hey, this is how I do it when I build my full parks, like, dude, I'm absolutely willing to take some more advice. This is a first for me, so anybody who's had experience with it, shoot over some messages, and I'd appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a good one.